My name is Brenda Robertson. This is my video presentation for Capstone 2 in the Organizational Leadership course at Texas A&M Commerce. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight on my background. I have 15 years of management experience, 7 years in fast food retail, 3 years in pharmacy retail, and 6 years in higher education. I first started my first leadership role whenever I was 16 years old, and I'm 34 today, so I have plenty of years of understanding different types of behavior backgrounds and different ways of doing approaches, leadership styles. But I have learned from many different types of leadership styles. I've gone through good and bad traits, behaviors, and working environments. While completing the program, I have learned a great deal of what type of leader I am and what type of leader I want to be. Even though I have 15 years of management experience, this program has taught me a lot on different ways to become the leader that I want to be. I would have to say, when I first started this program, it was not what I really thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to teach me more about just, I guess, the operational sides of it, but it went into so much more. Even though I practiced a lot of these traits and behaviors daily, I never really understood why they made me an effective leader and made me so effective with the team that I was working with. When I started the program back in 2018, I was working at Remington College, Dallas's campus. My title there was the Program Director of the Pharmacy Technician Program. My role there really involved working with faculty, students, and then dealing with the ins and outs of just running the program itself. While overseeing my faculty, I really felt that I did a good job at listening to their needs, being supportive whenever it was needed, and providing constructive feedback for growth from evaluations for myself or the evaluations from the students. I also made sure to keep an upbeat and positive attitude every day while I was there. Not only did my employees look up to me, all the students looked up to me as well. I did learn, though, that while working with the students, it was a little trickier making sure that I approached all of them appropriately. So going through the behavior and ethics class, that really helped out a lot for me in that. Really making sure I understood how to approach each one of those students, because they were so different between their ethnic backgrounds, their cultures, the diversities, the different areas that they grew up in, and the different situations that they were just brought up through. I had to really learn how to take those and know which ones I could be more stern with, which ones I had to be more sensitive with. In the beginning, I really realized that I was looking over a lot of the small details. And as I was going through the program and everything else, I really realized that they do come back and bite you in the butt whenever you are least expecting it. Another great thing that I learned from this program was that delegating is not a bad thing. I always felt like if I had to delegate out my duties or some things like that, that it made me a bad leader. Not all the time. Sometimes it's very a big necessity to be able to delegate certain activities out to your team members that normally they wouldn't be responsible for if you feel like they can handle it. While I was completing this program and working at Remington, it really advanced my abilities as a leader and a manager, and overall as a better person. In most of the classes, not only was I completing the assignment, but I was also taking that same assignment and doing the assignment over my current job, because it really helped me get a full understanding of the assignment itself, and then also how it related to me in my job, in my career, in my personal growth that I wanted to go through with them. During each course that I have taken, I have learned something specific from each course, and I believe it is making me a better leader now. In my Issues of Organizational Leadership class, it really showed me how different types of organizations are set up. It also showed me the basic traits and behaviors that are good and negative in leaders. In the course, it really hound in a lot about communication, and communication really resonated a lot with me. Currently at that time at Remington College, communication wasn't a very good thing that was going on. A lot of people were kept out of the loop. We weren't really finding out about things. So for me, I feel like communication is really the building block to everything. It's not just in business. It's in your personal life. It's in your work life. It's in your relationship life. Everyone knows that in order for anything to be successful, communication has to be strong and on point. It doesn't matter if you're communicating in a small group or in a large group. It's always better to be upfront and honest with everyone in the beginning and letting them understand what the end goal is and why it is important for them to get to that goal. It's also important to make sure that you use appropriate timing to give out these messages, and make sure that you appropriately communicate to where all diversities, ethnic backgrounds, and everyone feels like you're not just pinpointing one person out or one specific group out. You're making sure that everyone under the board understands. I really learned a lot about the different types of leadership styles that are out there. From here, I learned that I'm kind of a cross between a transformational leader and a coach leader. As a transformational leader, I've been really good with coming in and starting new projects, initiating change, making sure that everything is positive, making sure that I really communicate and I listen to all those members in the team. As a coach leader, I feel like it relates to me a lot because I've done a lot of building. Pretty much through every position I have been in where I have been in a management position, I have come in and started with a new group of individuals and had to build them into the team that they ended up becoming and being very good at their jobs. I've always made sure to be very supportive in any member that was showing or expressing that they were having challenges, and making sure that I was behind them, showed them reinforcement and stuff like that, so that they knew that I believed in them and that they could believe in me to get them where they needed to be. In the data-driven decision-making courses, now these classes really opened my eyes because I've never been one to just look at data and making decisions off of data. I never really understood why people did this because I felt like the black and white wasn't always the answer on what is going on. There is always other aspects and other things that could be happening, but when you look at it black and white, it does show you the big gaps or the big negatives that are going on or the big positives and the very good areas within a company. Being able to understand the complexity of filtering through so much data at any given time is a special trait to have. The course really taught me how to filter down this large data, and from that data really identifying the strengths and the negatives within a company, and making sure that we try and take that negative and try and bring it up as close or to the part of the positive. In behavior ethics and leadership course, it shed a lot of light on the different types of behaviors that individuals within an organization will have and why they have those particular behaviors. Is the behaviors being involved because that's how the supervisors are acting? Is there not very much communication going on to where the members are feeling like that they shouldn't have to do their job, or that those above them don't understand what is going on? It also taught me a lot about making sure that positive behavior is being brought in. What are the positive behaviors that a leader can have that will effectively work with their team and make sure that they stay positive and work to the best of their abilities as well. Really, when we're talking about ethics is a broad area of really on what to cover, because my personal ethics may not be the same as the next person's personal ethics. One job's personal ethics or organization's personal ethics might not be the same as another. Making sure that when you're looking at your organization and the organizational ethics and the personal ethics of the employees will coincide together is very important. At some point in any type of leadership role, anyone is going to have to encounter why ethical decisions are important and how that'll affect their team, how will it affect their company, how will it affect the products that they're producing. In my leadership theory courses, I learned a lot about the understanding the principles and practices of an area of management and how it is important for all these areas to really work together to meet their goals. This class introduced to me different types of leadership theories and approaches to analyze the daily procedures within an organization. So in these, everyone has a different stance on what makes an effective leader, what type of effective leaders work with different type of personality groups. If this individual is good here and good here, but bad here, they're only good for this type of work environment. I would have to say I pull from several different ones. I don't just stick with one type of leadership theory whenever I'm working. I would have to say that I do stay on the ethical side of it. I do make sure that I listen, I communicate, and that I follow certain things. I don't think that just one certain type of leader can only delegate one certain type of crew member. Leading Change course was a class that really showed me the proper channels that are required in order to make small and large changes within an organization. Small changes are most of the time easier to delegate out when they only involve a few individuals, but when changes are large scale, there needs to be more of like a game plan on how the changes will occur, who all the changes will involve, and what are the challenges leaders will face during the changes. When you're able to identify all the possible changes beforehand and challenges that the team might face, the leader is able to communicate better with its members to figure out the best solutions for those problems. Many times whenever change happens, you are going to have employees or individuals in your program that want to backlash against it because it's not the norm. It's not what they're used to. When you're able to sit here and really be able to define those challenges that you might have and the best way to approach those certain individuals that could give you that backlash, it really brings on a better way of implementing and getting those individuals to turn and see your point of view. For example, while I was going through the leadership change course, I was also going through a big change at my job at Remington College. The ASHP, or the American Society of Health System Pharmacists, were the programmatic accreditation for our program. And they published new standards and goals that would go live January 2020. And it involved really redeveloping the program itself that we had. It changed a little bit in our admissions, career development, and graduation policies. But the biggest change was going to affect the academic standpoint in the books, what learning objectives and what goals the students were meeting while they were in school, what certifications they were allowed to get through entry level or the advanced level course. It also gave different changes to the different competencies that they needed to complete in both areas. Not much change happened to the externship component except for the hours were split up. But whenever we looked at the education part, there was a big change that was going to go on there. So not only whenever I was going through the Leading Change program did I do a process improvement plan for my homework, I also did a process improvement plan for the program itself, which went down to, we had to change the books, what the teachers were going to be qualified to teach once that change happened, what are the new credentials that instructors were going to be needing, what the credentials for the externship coordinator was going to need for that position. The book changes itself. It was a whole new book curriculum that was coming in, what type of assignments were going to be needed, the layouts, all that really needed to be involved in that plan so everyone could put in their input. I held weekly meetings that involved every program chair from every campus to be on. Their lead instructors were also involved in the Skype meetings. And this was the time where we got to sit down and talk about what we were going to change in the program, how the changes were going to happen, what challenges would possibly happen while making these changes. Would we get any backlash from instructors or other members in the college that had to work with us in those areas? So it was really nice to be able to sit down and go through that. Now that I'm finishing the program, I would say that I am still very much a transformational leader and a coaching leader. I feel that I have a much better understanding of what the importance of being a leader to a team means to everyone. In my leadership theory courses, I obtained a new position at SansRx Pharmacy. They are a specialty pharmacy that focuses on fertility, hemopathic medications, dermatology, and pain medications. My current position, I am the assistant to the the operations manager. Currently, I'm going in and I'm working as a tech in the 5 different departments that they have. I'm getting to come in and be a fresh set of eyes and sit down and evaluate each department. When they brought me on, they expressed that they felt that there were areas in each department that were lacking and that they feel like they could be running more smoothly as a company. They know that they're not running as effectively and producing as high as a quantity of medications that they're wanting. And so they really like the fact that my educational experience, me freshly going through school, would really benefit them. My current position, I'm really getting to sit down and see everything from a tech's point of view. I'm getting to listen to the concerns, really looking at the behaviors of each individual in the team, in each department, and seeing what's working effectively for each one, which one works best in each area. And it's really allowing me to have that open look and be able to give really good suggestions for improvement. I know every night whenever I come home, I'm able to sit down and put the different things that I learned from that day in 4 different categories of things that need to be changed, from the most minor changes to things that I think that need to be drastically changed. And then what needs to be done, or why are these things happening because of it. Since I'm getting to participate in all these technician point of view, I'm able to also really evaluate the drive and the determination of the company itself and where they're wanting to go. Once I've completed all of my rotations, currently I've gone through 3 different departments. I still have 2 departments left. I'm going to get to sit down with the CEO and the co-president and the pharmacist in charge and give a presentation over the areas that need improvement and the order in which improvements need to be made. I do also plan on making sure that I'm fully involved in those changes that are going to take place. Currently, one of the things that I know that is going to be on the bigger scale, there's 2 as of right now, is one on how the operations are done inside the compounding lab. There are a few things that aren't meeting the United States Pharmacopeia 797 regulations that need to be updated on different ways that they do things. And then also one that would make everything more effective in the company is their labels. Currently, every time they print a prescription label, they have to write down on the actual label itself whether the order goes through the stat delivery, if it goes through FedEx, UPS, or if it has to be picked up, or if there's other special type of delivery requirements. There is a special place in the system that they use where they can actually put all that in and it'll automatically print on the label, and it's not allowing for that backup of time of these individuals having to sit there for 1 to 2 hours every day writing those by hand on each prescription. Instead, it could be something that's automatically done and printed out and no one has to worry about it because it's already in the system. Some of the smaller things that need to be changed is going to be just the way that they direct the group as a team. There's one individual who is kind of given somewhat of direction for the day, and then they come in, they sit there and they kind of tell everyone what to do, but they don't feel like they actually have the authority to do anything else but just that. I think that leader in each group needs to be held to a higher standard by the team members. And really understand that they are the ones that, delegate what is going on day in and day out of their department. That would be a little easier to take on than the bigger goals. But overall, it's been very interesting. Okay. I don't know what else to say. Bye.